We are live here, AFNTalk, and our Facebook page here for AFNN. Uh, Harry the Boobs Bob here tonight with RJ Ciancio as usual. The ins and the outs. Well, Buffalo's out. Kansas City's in. Green Bay's out. Tampa Bay is in, much to people's chagrin. And I, for one, am having a field day laughing at football fans right now. Because everybody's so pissed off about the Tampa Bay and Green Bay game. Why? Well, bad officiating. But that's typical for the NFL. Nothing new, it's happened before. What is funny, though, what I find to be absolutely hysterical is the amount of angst people have in regards to what happened during this game. Is it that they're upset that Green Bay was on the receiving end of some bad officiating calls? Or are they pissed off because Tom Brady left New England, went down to Tampa Bay, and proved that it wasn't Belichick's system that made Tom Brady a superstar?
Yeah, so it's 3 number 1 receivers in Gronk.
It was the ability of a man named Tom Brady.
The Buccaneers
to
won
play
in
football.
spite of Brady last week.
Let me finish my thoughts before you interrupt me. Because Tom Brady has gotten a lot of vehement from people. Now, hey, they may have deflated footballs down in Tampa Bay. We don't know what's going on. But the fact of the matter is that Tom Brady left a team that, let's face it, has been in decline for a few years now. Key players have left the team, and they've had a couple of poor outings, if you will, in a couple of seasons. So Brady leaves there. He goes down to Tampa Bay, and guess what? He leads the Buccaneers into the 2021 Super Bowl. RJ, I know you have issues with what happened in that football game. Go ahead and let the listeners know what your grievances are.
Oh, jeez. So watching that game was like using sandpaper as toilet tissue. It was painful, and it really didn't serve any purpose other than to cause agony. And now you can't sit straight. So.
Sandpaper.
Yeah.
Toilet paper.
Yeah.
Hey, there may come a case when you need that. I'm just saying. Could have a problem.
Oh, my God. No, I don't think I have that bad a problem. What I do have a problem with is the game. I felt I was watching 2 teams try to lose. This is not a tank bowl. This is the NFC Championship game. Play like it. First, you got the Green Bay Packers. And I would make some cheese pun right now about how full of holes they were, and it's a Swiss defense and ha ha ha. But that wasn't the issue. The issue was the offense. First of all, Devontae Mother Adams. Aaron Rodgers with goal to go hit you twice where the ball should have been perfectly. You were wide open. One time, you turned the wrong way. Despite what Stephen A. Smith might say, you turned the wrong way, you turd. Second time, back of the end zone. Beautiful pass by Rodgers. You don't even try to tiptoe catch it. It's a make-all catch for a number 1 receiver who gets paid like you do. I guess you're not a number 1 receiver then. Do you want to get treated and paid like one? Then you make the damn catch. Secondly, oh my God, Tom Brady looked like Blackbeard if he was blind trying to steer a ship through a damn hurricane. Tom Brady threw 3 interceptions. And here's the thing. Green Bay couldn't do crap about it. Tampa Bay did not win because of Tom Brady. I don't want to hear that. They won in spite of him, but they still won. And then, Matt LaFleur See, I can't say I like feel like it's a gag on saying
Please
like I can't say it.
put your mask on. I don't need to get a virus. My computer don't need no viruses. Okay. Need to wear a mask
Smith
too.
decides, hey, like it's 2 minutes to go. Tom Brady's on the other side of the field. He may be a geriatric patient, but he is still Tom Brady.
Jerry, how dare you? How dare you?
So you got a geriatric Hall of Famer on the other side.
What would you call Ben Roethlisberger?
He's been around less time than Brady has.
And he's still as old as.
No, he's not.
Okay, how old's Tom Brady? Is he over 100 yet?
Sure as hell feels that way living
Is he
in
collecting
Connecticut.
his Social Security benefit yet?
He can play it off. Anyway, so Tom Brady, so there's like 2 minutes left. And Matt LaFleur decides, hey, because we're down an extra couple points, because I decided to go at 2 for 2, because I think I'm Rick Marcello of the New York Streets playing the Westchester County Center and have all that backfired me all season. And said, hey, going for 2 for no reason, trying to make it a 3-point game. Sure, we'll go back for it. Oh, now you need a touch. Now you need a 2-point conversion. You numb that. So then, season's on the line. Your season's on the line. You have the better quarterback, in my opinion, Aaron Rodgers, come at me comment section. With a few yards to go, your defense has been gifted 3 turnovers. You don't know if they can stop the Patriots. Jesus. You don't know if they can stop the Buccaneers one more time. And with goal to go, you kick it? That is the most gutless call I have seen in my history of not just watching the NFL today, but historically. I'll extend it to alternative leagues as well. So your arenas, your indoors, your XFLs, never have I seen something so gutless. And it makes me want to puke. Because here's the thing. If you don't get it, Tampa Bay is backed up inside their own 10. Do you see the issue here? Because now you kick off, they get some return yardage. They needed a first down, regardless. You weren't going to. Your chances of stopping them were very, very slim. But now, sure, let's just deflate the ball ourselves and not make Tom do it this time. It was so appalling, so disgusting. It made me want to slam my tongue into a car door.
That's a little extreme.
If Rodgers, I'll put it this way, if Rodgers decides to leave Green Bay this year, I think he should. If he wants to win one more championship, get the frick out of there. There's no chance in heck you're winning it in that frozen wasteland under that management. And if I'm the Packers management and Rodgers leaves, because you don't want to shake the boat when Rodgers is there, but if Rodgers goes, fire Matt LaFleur immediately, give him his pink slip, send him out the door. That was the most gutless call I've ever seen. That should, if there was a way to fire him on the spot, that should have gotten him fired on the spot. It was that disgusting of a call. Oh, and then the pass interference at the end of the game. Oh, my God. First of all, the refs are incompetent as per usual. I mean, but, what is new at the NFL? We're the NFL. We don't have to worry about any of this stuff because we're the only pro football league most of the time. Really, you've seen a dramatic drop since the strike in 2012. When they brought in refs from the Lingerie Football League who were rejected there to ref the failed Mary game. It's been going downhill since then. So now, you come to this NFC Championship game. They were holding the Packers all day long. It was like they thought it was like a hug fest. Come here. Guys, this is not Hugsy Wugsies. This is the NFL where you're not allowed to do that stuff after 5 yards. Even then, it's defensive holding. So many missed calls, including on a Rodgers interception.
Okay, so do you
That
bet?
led to Tampa Bay points.
But
And now, at the end of the game, do I think it was the right call? Absolutely. It was clearly a penalty on the defense. I will not deny that. But you start counting it now to help Tom Brady out, who's had a really bad night. I'm not saying there's a conspiracy at all. I think the refs just decided to make a bad call at a bad time. But what I will say is, NFL fans have every right to feel jaded. Because you weren't calling it that time that way all night long, and all of a sudden when it benefits Brady, it helps. Again, I'm not saying there's a conspiracy at all. I think it was just the refs being stupid. But you can see how refs are frustrated, how fans. Oh my god, I'm so frustrated. I can't think straight. How fans are mad and frustrated and tired of this BS NFL. Listen, you are so lucky. There is not an AFL right now, not Arena League, but the American Football League going on right now, because that kind of stuff drives people away. It's disgusting. No one's going to get held accountable for it. And Packers fans, I don't want to hear it. If you can't score more than, 3 or 6 points off of 3 Tom Brady turnovers, you don't deserve to win. If your coach is that much of a coward, you deserve to lose. I felt like I was watching 2 teams try to lose.
okay, that's not the first time this has happened in the world of professional football.
The refereeing was not new levels of stat. It was just combined with the 2 teams trying to simultaneously wave their white flags and get the other's attention. It was pathetic. That's the kind of quality game you could see on Thursday Night Football,
The views and
not the
opinions.
NFC Championship game.
Yeah, the views and opinions of those that RJ is expressing are his, and not those necessarily those of AFN Talk, AFNTalk.com, or the Alternative Football News Network. Thank you. And whatever the gangsters say, hey, that's on them. Sorry about that. But
Gangstas, not
RJ,
gangsters.
now there's a new league, well, not such a new league, but we have a league now. I think they might be competition to the NFL, don't you? With the the National Football Association, formerly the IDFL, Indoor Developmental Football League.
No, Impact.
Impact.
Football League, my
Okay,
friend.
okay, okay. So, well, at least they didn't get no flack out of that wrestling group up in Canada from Anthem. So, Impact Wrestling. Anyhow, we have some news about the former IDFL, as there were some trademark issues. Is that what it is? Trademark issues in regards
That's
to
why they changed the name to the NFA. And look,
that's kind of, they might want to be careful because people might mistake them for the NRA or I mean, there's a lot of acronyms out there, a lot of little, just why? Look, when the Alternative Football Network was founded, we something very simple. A Google search was performed.
trademarks.
Then we went to an attorney, and they did a bunch of stuff to say, okay, you have a legit name that no one's used before. You're good. You have AFNN, AFN Talk. That's who you are now, because legally you have paid the fees, filed the paperwork. You will be recognized at the federal level as an LLC, and you have the right to use that name. You have, trademarks, everything else is done. What would possess someone to start a league and not do their homework? Just, out of the blue. Hey, I want to be. I'm going to call myself the National Football Conference. Okay, I'm just going to call my league the National Football Conference. Not bothering to understand that there is something called the NFC, which is part of the NFL, and that it is an entity in and of itself as a part of a greater group, and that there are going to be legal hurdles that I need to bound over in order to use that name and have rights to that moniker. RJ, I know you've been chomping at the bit. Before we came on air, you were tickled pink about this. I know you got something to say here. Go for it.
I mean, picture it's the 1980s. It's pro wrestling, and you're starting your own independent federation. Mind you, the National Wrestling Association is the biggest thing right now. This is pre-Vince taking everything over. What do you call your indie fed? A. UWF, United Wrestling Federation. B. WWW, Worldwide Wrestling. C. NWF, National Wrestling Federation. If you pick C, congratulations, you are unimaginative. Let's just change that last letter and hope no one notices.
Well, it would be the National Wrestling Alliance, which for 70
Pardon me.
years was, well, for at least 50, yeah, about 50 years was the
40,
large
50 years.
sanctioning body. Well, it goes way back before that. The NWA started way back in the 30s. So
It was 40s, dude.
the actual foundation was laid in the 1930s. You're talking to a pro wrestling historian, so, but it was the 30s that the groundwork was laid for it. In the
Well,
40s
Grandma
it
was
came
laid, yeah, I
together.
mean, officially formed.
But
anyway.
the organization was recognized as the largest sanctioning body in the world in the world of professional wrestling. And by sanctioning, that means that their belts were recognized. And unlike the WWE, the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship for decades was recognized as the world's heavyweight title, the only belt that has been defended in multiple companies, multiple promotions throughout the world. That's sort of like saying the Super Bowl. Remember that we used to have that thing called the World Bowl, which really that's not a World Bowl. I mean, it's not like this league was all over the globe at that point.
Yeah.
Now, when we had NFL Europe, then maybe we could have talked about a World Bowl or something like
Which
that.
is what they called it.
Huh?
Which is what they called the championship game.
Yeah, but really, was it a World Bowl? That's the thing. Is it?
Yeah.
That's the whole point. You have to really know what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
But we have the situation where the founders of the IDFL didn't do their homework, and that, in the end, is detrimental because for me, as somebody who tends to do more than is necessary at times, depending on the situation, it doesn't seem like a logical. Now, look, it just doesn't seem logical, and let's not disparage those in charge over at the former the league formerly known as the IDFL. Let's say it like that. They're just going to be a new symbol.
Yeah, just pull Prince, honestly.
Yeah,
to get around the trademark issue.
Yeah, just put a generic football up there. That's it. Generic football. There you go. The generic football league. GFL, the generic football league. I like that. That would be a good league. It's just whatever. It's football. Whatever. We don't care. Generic.
Average football played by average people. Ticket prices are average.
Yes, and every uniform is black and white. Just black and white with just a white jersey, a white T-shirt with black text on it, team name on the front and player name on the back with a number. Generic. Everybody looks the same.
No logo on the helmet.
No logos, no nothing. Just a white helmet, standard white helmet. The home team's got the white helmet. The away team's got the black helmet. That way, hey, if you come and your player forgot his helmet, the home team's got a stock of them out back. You can grab one and go.
But in all seriousness, and this is not just for football, but any venture you start up and want to be taken seriously, please do your homework.
And unless you're a comedian, then you don't want to be taken seriously. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong.
Okay.
You're just being a wise ass, which I appreciate.
Pretty much, yeah. I've got to add some levity here. And by the way, the views and opinions expressed on this show are not necessarily those of AFNTalk. Wow, we've had to do this twice already tonight.
I told you to make the graphic for the disclaimer already.
Now, we're going to dedicate the rest of this show to one topic. And I'm going to start off. We're going to change the mood here real quick, folks.
This is serious stuff.
This week it came to light that Chad Wheeler's assaulted his significant other. Okay. Chad is being charged with domestic violence. And we've seen a lot of stuff on social media. And what we have seen bothers me to no end, to absolutely no end, because I'm going to explain why. I'm not going to defend Mr. Wheeler, but what I will say is this is not an issue of race, because his girlfriend was a woman of color. This is an issue, a serious issue on two fronts. One, Chad Wheeler suffers from bipolar depression. And that illness, and yes, it is an illness, a mental illness, a severe one that affects the life and lives of those who have the illness and those around them that have to deal with that illness. Okay? Second off, and most importantly, this is an issue of violence in a relationship. And I personally have a huge problem with this. And let me give you this. As a child, I witnessed my father beating my mother, as well as myself and my siblings. He was an abusive man due to his love of alcohol. We live in a society today where everybody's got to have a cause to be a complete human being. Instead of dealing with your own issues, you have to step up and fight somebody else's battle. And in my mind, all you're doing is ignoring your own issues. Okay, if you're not perfect, if you've got issues in your own life, don't try to defend or reprehend somebody for their issues. You don't have that power. And when you do that, what you do is you make yourself look stupid. You really do. Because if you've never dealt with bipolar depression, don't disrespect somebody who's dealing with it, because it's crippling. It's crippling. RJ, you and I had a conversation about this, how people were making this, trying to make this a race issue, and it's
I
not.
was not talking about that. I was not talking about that.
This is not a race issue. This is an issue that I think pervades athletics itself. And that
Well, especially in sports as macho, machismo, toxic masculinity filled as football, where you have to be the alpha male, you have to go get it. This pervades a lot of that toxic masculinity, where you gotta assert your dominance, man, because you can't let anybody walk on you no matter what. First of all, some people don't get like. I'm not saying I know what being an alpha is, but being an alpha isn't being a douchebag and like abusing people and pushing people. From my understanding, it's being a leader, not a jerk.
well,
Second of all,
go ahead.
second of all, so Chad Wheeler, here's the thing: as a man with OCD, anxiety, depression, ADHD, I understand that mental illness is very crippling. However, it can explain a lot. However, never, and I mean never, will I excuse the bull crap that this man did. It will not excuse the bull crap anyone else does. There's no way in this universe or any potential parallel ones that you could try to justify it with that. I've had enough of it. Stop playing that card. And I'm not saying he has here. People trying to defend him are sometimes, I feel like. So it's up to those people, more is to him. First of all, like you, Chad, are a reprehensible human being, and like you say you're going to get help, bro, you better get all the help. And I hope you personally better yourself. I really do.
As somebody who suffers from bipolar depression and has for decades, since I was a small child, I there are times when I don't know the whole situation that occurred here. Okay, no one really does. There's only two people that really know exactly what happened. and that's Chad and his partner. Okay? They're the only two that really know what happened. That's it. Everybody can say, "Oh, well, I heard this and I heard that," but you know what? I heard McDonald's was fucking bringing back the McRib sandwich 6 months before they did, and they were supposed to do it in October, and it didn't happen until December. So, what you hear, I could care less what you hear. It's the facts. It's facts that matter, and that's all that ever matters are the facts. And the fact is we have a guy who has yesterday took to Twitter. Let's read Chad's tweets here. He says events happened over the weekend that transpired from a manic episode. I am deeply sorry for the pain and suffering that I have caused to name redacted and her family. Okay, he's accepting blame for his actions. Responsibility. Step 1. I did it. Okay, I did it. 2. I apologize profusely for the turmoil that I have caused to my family, teammates, and fans, and those closest to me. The most important thing right now is that Name Redacted gets the care she needs and I get help. Both are happening. Tweet number 3. It's time for me to walk away from football and to get the help I need to never again pose a threat to another. I cannot express my sorrow or remorse, though I am truly ashamed. Or enough, excuse me. I am truly ashamed. Now, let me explain something. You might want to vilify this man, but I see a man here who he's admitted I made a mistake. I did something I shouldn't have done. He's going to pay the price. There's no doubt about that. This is domestic violence, so he'll pay the price. He may have lost a woman that he cares about a lot. We don't know. Okay? He has taken upon himself to walk away from his job, a good paying job. He's walking away from his job, from what puts bread and butter on the table, and maybe never play again. Okay, and those listeners and watchers out there who don't understand this isn't I work at McDonald's, I can't stand my job, I'm tired of flipping burgers. This is a guy who spent his life for one goal, and that was to play in the Premier Football League throughout the globe, American style football league. Okay? And he made it. Now, he's not a starter. He's a tackle, not a starter. But he's played a lot this year because of injuries, because of other players not being able to play, thanks to whatever situation the world has handed us. He's willing to get the help that he needs so that this type of a thing never happens again in his life. So if you're out there berating him, one, men take responsibility for their actions. They don't blame it on someone else. That's the first thing. Would you agree with that statement, RJ, that men take responsibility for their actions?
Here's what I'm going to say. That's something men do, but also what they do is generally the first time it happens, he had issues like this before, not domestic violence, but he punched holes in the wall, didn't go and get the help then. That could have prevented this.
Everybody, people who don't suffer from bipolar depression punch holes in the walls when they get upset. Dude, I threw when my grandmother passed away, I smashed coffee cups all over a street because I was so mad and upset. So instead, I destroyed. You know why? Because sometimes that's the way you get the aggression and the anger out.
It was so bad he got a psychiatric evaluation. This wasn't just your normal, I'm mad. He had to get a psychiatric evaluation.
The whole thing is that the way we show aggression as men, not all men are going to sit back and take anything with. Okay, so Okay, male aggression is nothing new. So I am going to start a campaign. Hashtag if you ever got mad at somebody and punched a hole in the wall, you need therapy because there's something wrong with you. You should have never done that. That wall was innocent. Hashtag save the wall. See how stupid that sounds? How many guys
Well,
have put
considering you're
holes in
comparing a
walls
human
because
to
they
a
were
wall,
mad?
yeah, it sounds pretty stupid.
Pardon me?
You're equating what this man beat up.
No, what I'm saying is this man was angry. This man had an issue he has an anger issue. He has a problem with anger, and a lot of people today have massive anger issues. A lot of people. We've seen it for the last 5, 6 years now. The world is so mad at everyone around them because you don't think like me, you don't look like me, you don't act like me, you don't talk like me, you don't walk like me. Quit being angry. What happened to a world where no matter what race, what sex, what anything, no matter what thing makes you different from me, I can accept you and love you as a
That will
human
never
being.
existed, dude.
Pardon me? Pardon me?
Bro,
I grew up in the
just
1980s, a whole different era in human history, a completely different world.
bro, you're making
We
stuff sound
didn't
like
think
it
like
was
that.
a utopia.
No, I
Here's
didn't.
the thing, bro.
No, it was a different world because people looked at the world differently. It was not my. I don't need to bear a cross for everyone but myself. My issues are mine. I deal with them on a daily basis. I deal with depression and anxiety and anger. I deal with my own emotions. I am responsible for my own actions. It's whatever I do wrong, it's my fault. Whatever I do right, I did. Nobody has a right to judge me because I'm not perfect. Because, well, what's that old saying? He who lives in a glass house should not throw stones. Ain't none of us perfect. Not one of us. Now,
There's a
do I
difference
agree?
between not being perfect and a difference between being a piece of crap.
Well, you're calling a man a piece of crap who's made a very serious mistake in his life.
Mistakes, mistakes have levels to them. This is not just a mistake. Like calling this a mistake is like saying, like, like, it's not that it's not a mistake, but it's like
You're
you can.
vilifying. You are using. You are trying and convicting this man before you know the whole story of what really went down. And that's what I said
That,
earlier was the only two people really know what went down. I don't. I don't know all the facts. Nobody out there knows all the facts. No one. No one knows all the facts. But Chad Wheeler and his, at this point, we're going to make the assumption, which we probably shouldn't do, his former partner. Okay? That's the thing. You cannot use media to try and convict somebody without knowing all the facts. And we do this all the time in life. This is why I can't stand social media. I can't stand the news. I hate being told how to think. Let me know what's going on so I can make my own judgment. I have a brain. It works. Not very well sometimes, but it works. It's mine. Let me form my own opinions. Don't tell me how to think. And because I don't think like you, don't don't call me names. Don't peg me into a category because I don't happen to have the same belief structure as you. My life is not yours. You didn't grow up the way I did. You didn't you didn't have the same experiences I did in my 52 years. So don't tell me who I should be because that's not fair to me as an individual. I am not cookie cutter. None of us are. We're all unique individuals. People are vilifying a man because he made a mistake. And that's wrong. RJ, your turn to speak.
All right, so listen, I'm not saying that we should go out of the way to harass the guy. The guy owned up to what he did, and that's definitely part of things. Well, and listen, I understand mental health is crippling. I am not denying that. However, however, your issues with mental health, like I get that you need help, my dude. The reason I'm mad at you is because if your mental health issues were just affecting you, and like I understand it's not like I'll put it this way. If you didn't take out your stuff, here's the thing. You had the medication given to you. You had your medication but weren't taking it. That's what gets me besides the domestic violence part. That I cannot describe how disgusting that is and how it just makes me feel inside. But the thing that I will say is I am glad he's owning up to it. But I don't want people for a second to think those tweets do anything close to enough. You know, like, man, remember when Ray Rice knocked his then fiance out? Like, in all the work he had to put back into his life to get some form of credibility back? Like, it's, bro, you can't, like, this man has dug himself in a hole, you know, and if he wants to get himself out of it, he's going to get himself out of it. But it's not going to happen shortly. And while I don't want the media to overly vilify him, I also don't want them to go soft on him either. Give him a just response, which I think is what a lot of people have been. Some people have been taking it too far. What I'm saying is what this man did is vile and disgusting. And whatever justice is brought forth to him is well deserved.
And that's your opinion. Okay, that's your opinion, just like I gave mine. Okay, so that's understandable. If you look on the screen, folks, you can see we put up the National Domestic Violence Hotline out there. Look, domestic violence is nothing to be taken lightly. I lived with it as a child through my teenage years, dealt with it. Um, it's a very serious issue, and it does affect a lot of people out there, a lot of families. And believe me, child abuse is domestic violence. Okay, so, but when a man or a woman decides to use aggression and anger and violence toward their significant other, one, I'm going to be honest, if you're in that kind of a toxic relationship, get out. If you feel the need to hit your partner, leave. It's not for you. Get out of that relationship. I don't know what your issues are, but get out rather than
Get out and get help.
hurt another human being. Sometimes it isn't help they need. Sometimes it's just a distance between the two people because they're not compatible. Okay? If you're a man and your girlfriend, and I'm going to tell you what I think abuse is. Abuse is when your significant other expects you to keep them at a certain economic level that you have to do without so that they can have everything they want. That's abuse. That's abuse. It's wrong. When your partner feels the need to go through your personal belongings on a regular basis, be it your cell phone, your wallet, whatever, just to see who you're talking to, get out of that relationship. That's toxic. That is toxic as hell because it leads to resentment and it leads to feelings of being I don't want to say insignificant, like you really don't matter. If they don't have, if somebody tries to control you, get out. Be done with it. Nobody has a right to control anybody in any way, shape, or form. If you are in a relationship and you do not feel this way, you are the last thing I want to see before I go to bed at night, and you're the first thing I want to see when I wake up in the morning. If that isn't what you feel or how you think, then get the hell out because you're not in love with that person. You're there for, they're a companion. Or, as in a lot of cases with people who suffer from mental illness, you're an enabler. You enable that person to suffer with whatever they're going through. By you walking away and saying, hey, if you really care about me and you want me, you'll take care of that. Okay? That's how you fix that problem. But you have to distance yourself from the issues. Men, women, it doesn't matter what kind of a relationship you're in. Okay? Do not allow, if somebody is trying to control you, to dominate you, to make you feel like you are less of a human being than you are, then walk away. Be done with it. Get out yourself before situations like this happen.
And I want to point out that it's not easy. It's not always easy
No,
or viable for a lot of people to get out, and that's what makes it so tragic. Like,
no,
I
no.
mean, it's tragic regardless, but it makes it even more tragic in a sense. It's just like,
Hey, I was in a 5 year relationship and it was very toxic. And at the end of the 5 years, I woke up one morning, I looked in the mirror, and I realized I haven't been able to smile in I don't know how long. I couldn't even think about the last time I was happy. And that was it for me. It's like, all you do is berate me. I have a good job. I never have any money, but you're always going out with your friends. You have new clothes, and I'm wearing the same things I've had for 5 years. So, what's wrong? And it was that point when I decided I didn't want to be in that relationship anymore. And I left for my own health and my own well being. Okay. It was just, it took me to stand up for me instead of allowing someone else to control me and use me the way I was being used by that person. And I have never looked back. I am at a stage in life, and look, look, folks, I'm a 52-year-old man, and since I was 31 years old, I have not been in a relationship, and I have never been happier in my life. I don't need somebody else in my life to make me feel validated. I have friends around the world that I talk to. I know people like RJ, who, he's RJ, he's cool. Uh, I have a best friend. I talk to him every day. We keep each other on point. When I have bad days, I call my best friend. Hey man, I just need to talk. And you know how I know he's my best friend? Because no matter when I call, if I tell him, hey man, I'm having a bad day, I need to talk, no matter what he's doing, he's got time for me to listen. Might not always know what to say, but a lot of times, and RJ, I know you know this, when you suffer from things like bipolar depression, sometimes just having somebody to vocalize what's going on inside your head helps.
oh, bro, like 100%. And here's the thing I also want to say: we do not claim to be experts on like mental. We don't claim to be certified people who treat mental health. We're just saying from our own life experiences what we know.
Yeah,
I just want to make that very clear to our listeners out there that
yeah.
we're not trying to claim
We do claim to
credentials
be
that we
mental.
don't have.
We do claim to be mental, just not experts at mental health. I mean, neither one of us actually have all our screws in tight. If you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, and like just to say one last thing. I'm never gonna fault somebody for not being able to reach out for help or not feeling confident enough to. That is completely valid. But if slash when you are ready to, there are always people there who are willing and happy to help you.
And a lot of times we don't realize it when RJ, I think you can verify this. There are a lot of times when we don't realize that there are people around you who know but don't say anything because they don't want to upset you or put you in a place that they don't want you to be. That you do probably have a friend or a family member, a brother, or a sister, somebody who knows that something's going on, and sometimes just reaching out and the first step, RJ, would you agree? One, admit there's an issue. Two, ask
Acknowledgement is the
for
first step.
help. Ask someone. I don't give it. If you're religious, talk to your minister, your pastor. Talk to one of your brethren or sisters in your church that may be dealing with something. Talk to a family member. My God, siblings can be so supportive of you when you have these sort of issues because they see it, and we don't realize sometimes how much it hurts those around us to see us. They know we're suffering, and they don't know what to do because once again, they've never been to college. They've never studied what's going on inside your head. Now let me explain, and let's explain depression. Your everyday, I broke up with somebody, I'm so sad. Depression is not the same thing as someone who deals with bipolar depression. Bipolar depression is a genetic disorder that affects about 10% of the population of this nation right now. Okay? It is incurable. It can be controlled with medications, be they pills that you get from a major drug outlet or other sources. We know that substances like cannabis have been proven effective in dealing with the symptoms of bipolar depression. Okay? Seek medical attention, whether it's holistic or traditional medicine. Find somebody you don't have to pay a psychiatrist or a therapist to talk to them. Have a friend that cares. That going out to the football game with your buddy, and man, I've been feeling like crap. A lot of stuff with stress at work. Me and my girl are fighting. Um, I'm behind. I'm behind in my utilities and my mortgage right now, and I'm just feeling like the water's right here. Because when you're depressed, a lot of times that water it's just right here, and you don't know how to get above it. It's when you let it get up to here that you start sinking further and further into that depression, and you end up doing things that you will regret. And a lot of times, folks, it's tragic to say, but there is a high, there are high, the rate of suicide among people who suffer from bipolar depression is extremely high. Okay, because it is a form of depression that is an imbalance in the brain. You cannot get out of it yourself, no matter what you do. And when you suffer from bipolar depression, it used to be called manic depression. You go from highs to lows. Me personally, during the summer, I'm up here. I'm always right up here. I go for days without sleep or with just a couple hours, and I'm fine. When the weather changes, when it gets to be winter, then I start coming down and coming down and coming down. That's when I need my friends there, when I need to do things like AFN Talk, where I can sit and talk to other people and express myself. Instead of being stuck up here, it's coming out here. Because when we keep stuff up here, when you lock all those issues in, it does you no good. None at all. It leads you down a path that you don't want to go
And I
down.
want to tie this back to where we start with this. And you brought up earlier was the culture of football.
Hmm.
Like, um, like your mental health comes before everything else, before football, before baseball, before soccer, before whatever else you got. Because it will put you, if you're in the right state of mind, you won't be with the right people that you want to be with, and you'll end up doing regrettable things to horrible, disgusting things that will affect you for the rest of the life you have on this earth, like we saw in this tragic case here. And, if you're a victim of any of this stuff, again, I will never fault you for not reaching out, but know when that time comes when you're able to, there are people that are supporting you. That's really all I got to say on this from here on out, man.
And if you're out there and you know somebody who is suffering from depression, anxiety, any sort of a mental illness, don't ever force them to get help, but try to lead them down that path where they will seek help. Because when you force somebody, you tend to make them regret things or resent
Yeah.
things. Nobody likes to be told there's something wrong with you. Nobody. But when you can show them the folly of their ways, then you can lead them down the proper path, the proper road to get themselves healthy. And I know, RJ, we have talked a lot about mental health and depression because both RJ and I suffer from bipolar depression. Um, and it does affect how we interact with the world. We both like to be left the hell alone by people, per se. My friends I talk to on the phone, I'm not a big social butterfly. I could care less about going out to a bar and hanging out with people. Um, If I go somewhere, it's to be with my family, not to because I want to go to the bar and hang out or whatever, because that's my thing. You know, if I go to a game, I want to be with friends, close friends, and I don't want anyone else around me. That I don't associate with anyone else, no matter what the event is. Um, with that being said, folks, RJ, got to tell you, yesterday, hmm, I made homemade lasagna. Made my pasta sauce from scratch. Getting hungry now? Yeah, you will. Yeah, you will. Look, folks. I'm not gonna brag, but I happen to be an awesome effing cook. Can you cook, RJ?
Nah, I'm not much of a cook.
So,
Here's the thing. I know how to consume food well.
okay. Well, I'm gonna give you my Super Bowl nachos recipe. Okay. So here's how you do this. Now, a lot of people they go gotta have the wings and the beers. I want not Super Bowl nachos. Here we go. You go get two of the biggest damn bags of tortilla chips you can. I don't care if you go to Dollar Tree and buy them. Go get them at the Buck store. It's all the same, right?
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Just different packaging.
Okay. So you do that. Then you go get yourself some ground beef and some just regular sausage, and you fry that up together, right? Then you put chili powder in that, and there's something called cumin. It's a spice. Now, if you've never heard of it, well, you know, look up cumin.
Now you have.
Yeah, now you have. Yeah, it's something they put in taco mix. So essentially, what we're gonna do is we're gonna make our own like taco mix here. Um, then you want to throw in some salt and some pepper, and you put that in a pan and you let it all cook up. Now here's my secret ingredient. Go get yourself some jalapenos and toss in with that
Oh, I
meat.
thought it was going to be tears of sadness from being irrelevant. Sorry.
Pardon me?
Sorry, I thought your secret ingredient was tears from being irrelevant as a football team.
No, no, that's what you top it with. Is the irrelevancy of the participants in the Super Bowl. Because as it stands now, I see one victor this year. And that,
That's generally how it works in the NFL.
well, no,
There's usually one victor.
I think do you think I really feel that we are going to see a repeat of Super Bowl champions? And when's the last time that happened?
03, 04 Patriots.
Mm-hmm. And wouldn't it be just sweet irony that it was Tom Brady who was in that game that allowed Kansas City to repeat as Super Bowl champ? By the way,
That wouldn't be irony. That would be poetic. There's a difference.
poetic justice, is that what you're saying?
Not poetic justice per se, because there's no such thing as poetic justice for Tom Brady. Oh my God, don't get me started.
I think I'm going to write an ode to Super Bowl this year, and we'll read it. Yeah, it's going to be, yeah.
Yeah, just don't use that term on YouTube or they will copyright strike you or something like that.
Now, back to my recipe. Now, we've got the chips. We put all that meat on top, and then we pile on the melted Velveeta cheese. Not just any cheese. Got to have Velveeta. Why? Because, well, it's the cheesiest. And it melts real good, too. Holds up good under heat. Because I think it's pasteurized cheese product. It's not really dairy cheese like you would think.
Oh, who cares? It's the Super Bowl. We're all putting pounds on. No one cares.
Well, everybody's gained weight during the pandemic because, look, we got nothing else to do but sit around our damn houses and Netflix and chill. Speaking of, RJ, back to the recipe. Okay, so then you top all this off with the insignificance of Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And then for some spice, you put you top in a little dose of Raymond James Stadium with COVID. And what do you have?
And hope you don't go to the ER later.
Yeah, well, this is going to be telling what happens after this Super Bowl. What is it? They're selling like 20,000, almost 30,000 seats to this event.
22,000, I think it is.
That's that venue's going to look empty no matter what they do. There's going to be crowd noise, but it's going to look empty on TV. That's a 65,000 seat venue, I think.
Something like that. Some ridiculous number that if you were anywhere else in the world, you'd be stunned.
Yeah, it's
in America, this is just called normal.
Yeah, it's like it seats more people than are in like the most cities throughout the most minor cities throughout the country don't have that many people. There are places in this country that have. Hey, I saw a thing where there's a city that has like a population of 2, and they have a post office. Yeah, and they vote. Yeah, can you imagine who's the mayor? Do they just flip off who's the mayor?
Honestly, that'd be great.
So anyway,
It'd be hilarious if it's a husband and wife, because you know the stereotype of the old husband and wife arguing.
and next week we're gonna do something here. We're gonna do, you know, there's a movie trailer that just got released recently, and folks, I don't know if you know this, but I happen to be a huge fan of kaiju films. RJ, have you seen the trailer for Kong versus Godzilla?
No, nor do I want to.
Oh, what? That is not normal. You are Abby normal. Why don't you want to see Kong versus Godzilla? Our friend Kevin Drake is dying to see it. Oh, by the way, folks, that movie will be available on, and we don't get no sponsorship here. You know, we foot our own bills. HBO Max will be having that movie. So if you subscribe to the HBO thing on the streaming service, that's where you're going to see this movie at.
That being said, if you do want to sponsor us, just let us know.
Yeah, we're willing to take donations. We have a PayPal. Reach out to us through email, afntalk@afntalk.net or afntalk@gmail.com. We do read our email. We don't always pay attention to it, but we read it. RJ, any big plans for the week coming up besides not watching the Pro Bowl?
They're not even playing one this year. It's Madden Tournament. Speaking of video games, I finally got my Xbox Series X, which was impossible to get.
Oh, so your life has now changed, correct? So you now have a new computer, right?
No, it's just a console. I don't have a new computer.
Yes, you have a computer. That is a PC that plays video games, sir. Read the specs. Read the processor, the RAM, the video card. That's a PC. It's a PC. That's people. An Xbox is based upon an Intel processor.
Yes, we know.
Oh,
Speaking of which,
computer.
there's a project in the works that is AFN related that I can finally get to now. It has to do with Maximum Football 2020. Not going to say any more than that, but it is now in the works.
Okay, keep us up to date. Folks, it's time. We're glad you could join us here tonight. I don't know the theme song. What's that song? I forget even what it was. And now
I don't know. Your
time to
rendition is
say
horrible, though.
Goodbye to all of our friends. I don't know. Hey, anybody?
Oh, from Bear in the Big Blue House, right?
Well, no. From what? No, I don't know what it's from. It's from something when I was a little kid. Oh, kid. Now it's time to say goodbye to you and all our friends. I don't know what it is. Oh, Mickey Mouse Club. Not Mickey Mouse Club. MICKEYMOUSE.
I like how you pause to spell it for a second. That was golden.
Well, that's how the song goes. Mickey Mouse Club. Let me see. Let me look at it. Hey Siri.
We're gonna get copyright strikes for this, just for the record.
Well, no, we're not. They can't do a copyright strike on that. We're not playing.
Yeah, they can.
Because I'm saying.
Oh, I thought you were gonna play it.
I'm not playing anything. I'm gonna do the lyrics.
Oh God!
Please,
Please, there's a reason why he's never been on American Idol.
Here we go. No, I don't want it. I don't want the audio. You wacky. Get out of my face. Oh, the hell with
Listen, while Harry tries to figure this out.
Now, Mouseketeers, there's one thing we want you to always to remember. Come along and sing our song and join our family. MICKEYMOUSE. Through the years, we'll all be friends wherever we may be. MICKEYMOUSE. Mickey Mouse. Forever let us hold our banner high. Now it's time to say goodbye to all our company. MIC. See you real soon. KEY. Why? Well, because we like you. MOUSE.
I feel this like a youth indoctrination song for some reason.
Well, I am trying to start a cult of personality.
Good luck with that. You're going to need a lot of it.
Yeah, well, I have none anyway. So, anyway, folks, have a great night. AFN Talk all over the world of social media. We just have one thing. It's AFN Talk. That's it. RJ, If you want to plug your social media, go for it. If not, say goodbye to the people, RJ.
Goodbye to the people.
We'll see you back here next week. Remember, put your mouse ears on. And say hi to Annette, sexy woman.